Hey there, good morning, and welcome to Take Action Training. I am Julie, and this is
Jess.
And today we're talking about using a content theme to reach more people for social media. So go ahead.
Exactly, because a lot of times what we see, especially since everyone that's on here probably knows, if you're watching this on replay and you don't know, we actually have a done for you content solution. And a lot of times we hear, well, that's not specifically about what I do. So I'm not sure that this is going to work for me. But what we're going to talk about today in terms of a content theme is how to broaden your reach, which is a great thing because who doesn't need more leads, but then also how to meet your ideal client where they are at the moment. Because the fact of the matter is that a lot of times people aren't ready to buy from you the very first time they see you. But if all they're seeing from you is your shake or your health and fitness product, and maybe they're not quite ready for that, and you're not posting other content that's underlyingly building a relationship with them, then you're missing an opportunity to connect with someone who will become a client down the road. So with the content theme, we're going to fix all that, and we're going to make your content strategy and coming up with content a breeze. And I'm going to drop this resource right into the chat so that you can use it, follow along with it, print it if you're one of our people who like to print, and we will go from there.
Right. And one point to add to that is that in previous Take Action Tuesdays, or Take Action Training, we have hit on engagement and why engagement is so important, and not training your people to scroll right by your posts. So if you are strictly posting content that is product-based, service-based, whatever, your products, then you are training your people to slide right by, and you're not building that relationship and building that know, like, and trust that Savita just mentioned in the chat there.
Exactly. So while we're kind of going through this, I would love to see from you guys in the chat what you think, or just kind of like, if you haven't ever given thought to a content theme, what you think you could build content around with 4 or 5 categories. So we're going to be talking about that over the next few minutes. And as you kind of get that aha moment, like, drop your 4 or 5 categories into the chat, and we can, maybe give you some feedback and use some of that as an example, kind of as we go through this.
Right. And these are just high level categories of things that your target market would be interested in. Okay, so you're trying to reach your target market. And you may have heard these called content categories, content buckets, content pillars, themes. They're all the same. You're just coming up with some categories that you can have a go-to to pull content from, or ideas from.
For sure. And right off the bat, I love this elderberry syrup thing that Jen sells, elderberry syrup. And that is such a wonderful place to start, because that is very specific. But not everyone is going to need elderberry syrup all the time. So her content theme would obviously encompass wellness, immunity, and then we want you to kind of bring in other parts of your life that are going to be relevant to your ideal client. Julie?
Sorry, I'm trying to move the page. I'm multitasking. We just had a post in the group today about multitasking. So so yes, Jen and her elderberry syrup is so amazing. So I was waiting for her to see if she was going to comment with that. So the fragrance part of it, like, what's your like the smells and whatever, and bringing back memories. Like, there's so much inspiration type stuff that you can do based on that. Oops, sorry. Let me go back to this. So we bypassed something really quick. So I just want to get it in really quick, is the thing that the content themes will help you to do, obviously, is to plan. Like, you're not just constantly pulling out of air and getting up that morning and say, oh my gosh, what am I going to post today? So it helps you to plan. It helps you to think one time. I'm a fan of batching and trying to do the work one time and then reaping the rewards forever. So it helps you to think about your message, who you're marketing to. And again, these are not all marketing posts, but who you're speaking to and what they want to see. And then it will help you it'll give you some time to get creative with your posts. So, and that creativity is what will help you to stand out. Even with our done for you content, there are ways to reposition our content with your ideal client in mind and make them work for you. So
exactly. And what we're going to get to later when we kind of talk about how our content works inside of some of our current clients' content themes, because they have that freedom of already having some of their content checked off, they're able to be a lot more creative and able to hone in on those specifics. So the elderberry syrup posts a lot more than they would if they had to create all of it from scratch.
For sure. And again, it all can be positioned. It needs to be positioned with your target audience in mind. So,
for sure.
All right. So in previous Take Action training, we've talked about your target market. So is everyone clear as to who your target market is? And, have you ever we have a free avatar worksheet in our toolbox, and you can get to that. I can leave that here if you haven't ever gotten it. It'll help you to define who that is. Because when you're writing content, you are trying to speak to your person.
For sure. And while she's writing that, let me just say, because I see Kristen, she's got vegan food, fitness, budgeting, and planning in hers. And I really think that is perfect because she just let me know that she does Beachbody. So really the only monetization there is going to be with the fitness programs and the nutrition shakes. So only one of those categories is directly related to something that she sells. However, her ideal client is maybe not even looking for fitness right now. They might just be trying to get a handle on meal prepping, or they might need to know about budgeting or things like that. So that's a beautiful example, Kristen, because you're kind of throwing your net out there, and those other three on top of your fitness theme are going to bring in people who will be interested in the fitness and the nutrition down the road.
Right. And we talk about this all the time, being attraction marketing or pull marketing versus push marketing. If you're constantly just pushing your products on people, you are pushing them away. So you want to pull them in with good other content that is relatable, but that plays on your target market and your content that you are, or whatever you're selling.
Perfect. So we put some examples out here. You guys can read them, just as well as I can read them off to you. But as you'll see, it's very similar to what I just highlighted in Kristen's example. Only one or two of them are going to be specifically about how you monetize yourself. So, real estate, it's not just about their real estate products. There are also other things that complement it. And maybe there's even one that's a wild card, like functional fitness, that has absolutely nothing to do with real estate or buying or selling a home. But by putting content out there that has to do with your own personal functional fitness journey, then you are showing that you're a real person. And of course, people who want to buy and sell a house, also there are people in that niche that want to stay fit. So it's really about creating this beautiful net that's going to go out there and grab people and pull them in and get them watching you and following you for more than just your real estate business.
For sure. And being personal should be your one top priority in everything you do social. We've had another one, Take Action, of like your social post checklist, like what they should do. Being personal is like, that is what is going to, here it comes, Jessica. People do business with people. So be the face of your business, be the personality in your business. So all content should have some personality to it. So again, we've thrown several examples here that you can read through. We want to kind of help you, the people that are on here live, with what yours are and kind of critique those. But for the main part, you're looking for those 4 or 5 that are really, really going to be what your target market would want to escape and be on social media for and really enjoy seeing in their feeds. So we've got a little place for you to write down your 4 or 5 top categories.
And let's just pause right there before we go on to subcategories, because Tracy, I love this. She says she's not sure how to answer my question, but she gave me this great background. So I want to talk about that for just a second. She says her ideal audience is a busy, burned out spiritual mama who needs to fill their cup and lean into the importance of that. And I guess she's monetizing with her paid membership. So Tracy, that's wonderful. I have an example at the end where we talk kind of about crystals. I know that that's not specific to that, but any kind of practice like that, one of your themes could easily be self-care.
That was what I was going to say.
Mindset, working on your mindset, because I'm a new mom. I'm not as new of a mom as I was 6 months ago since my baby just turned 1, but I definitely can relate to that feeling of kind of losing yourself. So any kind of postpartum journey or empty nest journey, anything that could relate to what you're doing could be part of your content theme. But right off the bat, I would say, yeah, for sure, productivity.
A daily affirmation. Just to get up and speak, to how the day is going to be.
And I think there's one thing that we haven't said yet, and that is I personally have yet to find a niche where a motivation or a daily inspirational post is not relevant. And it's so great because those are almost gimme posts, especially if you have our done for you content, because we provide a daily motivational, inspirational post in there. And a lot of times we create those and write those with this like mindset shift in mind, or like personal life coach kind of in mind. So that's like a give. I'm feeling the art. Savita, she cracks me up. It's hard to keep a straight face when she's on here doing her thing, but we love it. But so I would strongly consider just making a motivational, inspirational post at the very first of your content theme, because they are so effective. Again, people get on social media not to be sold, not to see all this anger and negativity, but to escape and to feel good and to inspired. And a lot of that can be accomplished by you kind of being a beacon and putting out that positive voice for people.
And again, that is what people are looking for rather than the negativity. So if you're delivering that every day, and there is a way to subtly reframe those to bring your business into it, or either your personal into it, but to make them your own for sure.
Yes. All right. So we have an example here. Savita, I told you that I did you a solid since you show up so often, and your niche is something, it's not simple like for me, like fitness is, and skincare also comes pretty naturally for me since I've been making the content for skincare businesses for 5 years now. But in this example, I actually had our very own Savita in mind. Whenever we're going to actually talk about subcategories now. So we asked you to come up with your 4 to 5 content themes. And even if you haven't done that along with us, that's fine. Just bear with me as we kind of talk through this next part. So, for instance, you are a personal finance influencer who is primarily targeting a millennial woman on Instagram. And your content categories, maybe they look something like this. You are sharing content about how to get out of debt. You're sharing content about your fitness journey, motivational, inspirational content. Like I said, that's your give me theme. I feel like almost every niche should have that as part of their theme. For mom, possibly that's the wild card. That's where you're going to bring in something that you love to do. That could be anything from healthy cooking or whatever it is that makes you you. And then this boss babe content where maybe you're using a side hustle or a direct selling framework to help you generate a second income and get out of debt. And then with subcategories, this is where the magic happens, and you're basically able to speak directly to to multiple personas within your ideal client by thinking about it from this perspective of a subcategory. So within the get out of debt category, you could think about content that would appeal to someone looking to get out of significant debt, like $15,000 or more, or content for a new graduate who may be trying to plan for the start of their upcoming student loan payments, or a single mom trying to save for a girls' weekend. And as you can see, those subcategories, the ideal content, the content that would speak to them would be significantly different. So, and I kind of outlined that in the text below. You know, the single mom is likely to be interested in a quicker timeline, since saving for a girls' weekend is much less of a feat, I hope, unless your girls' weekend are just crazy.
Bora Bora.
Yeah. And it's going to happen a lot sooner, and that timeline is going to be a lot quicker than, you know, the 15,000 paying off 15,000 in debt. So I want you to think about subcategories like that as well, because that just, if you look at it right here, you have so many opportunities to write out specific pieces of content that can come to you pretty quickly.
And when you're speaking to them so they feel like you're talking to them. Don't worry about like if it's the mom's weekend, you know, and the other people are seeing it. They're seeing that you are diversely helping many sectors in that financial area. So you're positioning yourself as the expert in your area.
Yes. And the way I like to say that is you're establishing yourself as a resource, because what we want is for people to think of us as a resource. Like Savita, she wants to be your go-to gal for financial wellness. Oh my gosh, who was it? Jen, she wants to be your go-to gal for elderberry syrup. Kristen wants to be your go-to gal when you need a fitness program and a refill on Shakeology. And in order to do that, you have to post a lot more a lot more diversely than just your products, because just posting your products, people will learn to scroll right past you, as Julie mentioned. So we're really helping you figure out how to deliver value and deliver content that is service-led and is helping people, so that when they're ready to purchase, you're the no-brainer option for them.
For sure. And there's so many creative ways to do it. And by doing this work ahead of time, it gets you into the creativity part of like, who am I speaking to? How can I position this post? And then actually repurposing. We'll have a take action on this in the future, but repurposing content. So a month ago, you did a post, you know, speaking to the student loan debt. Well, you can repurpose that, unless you're batching. You can do it all now. But, you know, repurpose that content to speak to the girls' trip or whatever. So again, it puts you in a place to get proactive instead of reactive in trying to, you know, just what am I going to post today? You know, how am I going to reach somebody today? So get ahead of this. It really is not that hard, you know, to work ahead. So.
Okay, let me stop you right there, because Kim is new here and she's confused about what some of her other areas of content can be. And that's totally fine, Kim. Mm-hmm. We're so glad you showed up, and I'm even more proud of you for being brave enough to ask this question.
For sure.
So she is a new artist and she's trying to sell her own art. Now that's great because you will obviously, I assume, be capturing photos of your art and putting it out there for people to see. And there you go. There's one of your contents, your own art. And then your other one, of course, I kind of gave a give me one. That would be something motivational and inspirational. And since you are an artist, it would, yes, I'm getting there, Savita. We're just going to let you come on next time.
Exactly. We're going to put you
your
in a third
next
square.
one would be, so yeah, let's go ahead and say that's your second one. Behind the scenes, show your messy work setup when there's paint everywhere and how that goes. So
do a time lapse of you. I assume you paint, I think. But time lapse of whatever you do, like speed it up. Those are so interesting. The how it's made aspect. So many people love to see that.
So there you go. You have you're showing your process. You're showing your finished products, and those are going to be your more. Those will be the salesy posts where you're saying this one's for sale, or you're inviting people into your studio if you have a studio. But then you can also post content that's a little more gimme that maybe you can do a month in advance. And that would be where you post something that's like motivational or inspirational or thought provoking, in the vein of, an inspirational quote of something that you like. Also engagement content. Sorry.
You can go.
Engaging content, which we also do within the Your Social Plan realm, where you're asking your audience to talk to you, because so often we see young entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, who it's kind of like a one-way street where they're just posting, but just being online provides you such a wonderful opportunity to ask questions. Like, we're coming up on the end of March, so you can ask, what went well in March? What was the best moment in March so far? And I think a lot of times we tend to get so into what we're doing and what we're selling, we forget to capitalize on those engagement post opportunities, like, little national days. Get to know your customers day is coming up in April. And those are great opportunities to get people to talk to you.
My comment was going to be basically like along that same lines, but it's like talking about, so art is not just a hobby for you, but with engaging with other people, like what are their hobbies, or are they interested in art? Have they ever explored that as a hobby? Those types of hobby type posts, personal type posts.
Yes. So Kim, of course, my examples of the inspirational posts would be the daily inspirational posts that I create for Your Social Plan, because I do it with this kind of business in mind. So we find a quote that seems, appropriate, and it has like a broad appeal. We try to stay away from anything that has a narrow category. And then I pair it with a pretty image, an image that, has been shown and tested to be a scroll stopper. And then we let it go. So I guess we will have a couple at the end here, but then we can also show you, I'm also about to post in the group April's walkthrough for the new content that just dropped. So you can see some of what I mean there. All right.
I was going to say, I'll scroll this is an example of an inspirational that we put out. I'm going to scroll back up and see if we covered this. Also, what you could do is, if you've put out if you have a lot of pictures of your own work, you can mix those in as inspirational too, and ask a question, pair them with a quote about how they make you feel, that type of thing.
Gigi, I am sorry that I keep saying what you're about to type.
Sometimes she says what I'm about to say too. That's awesome. We're channeling our inner Jessica.
Yes. Perfect. So I think this is kind of what I was just talking about. And I use this example because this is one where, wait, are you going to leave it there?
I will. Yeah.
Okay. So the first time that we had someone come to us and say, I sell healing crystals. Will your none of your content is about crystals. I don't think it will work for me. Well, this all kind of goes back to the content theme that we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes, because all of your content should not be about healing crystals. And this is the example that I'm using right now. You can replace healing crystals with Shakeology and fitness products, or you can replace healing crystals with your own personal artwork or with your financial wellness products. But we're talking about healing crystals right now because that seems to be the one where the most unique one that we see pretty regularly, and also one that's kind of hard to conceptualize. But if you sell healing crystals, every post is not going to be about healing crystals. And that's simply because I would say that the average person is not educated on what healing crystals do, nor are they particularly ready to purchase your healing crystals right now. That does not mean that they're not going to purchase at some point down the line. That does not mean that they don't work. That just simply means that there's not enough education around them to have it sell like chocolate milk does, or something that everyone knows about and generally accepts. So your content theme would look something like healing crystals. Yes, duh. That's how you monetize. That's how you feed yourself and pay your rent. But also self-care, mindset and motivation, healthy cooking, maybe essential oils, whatever it is that plays into that your ideal client might be into, but they just don't know yet about healing crystals. So with that, 25% of your content will be about your crystals, or your fitness products or your finance products. You can insert there however you want. But then the other 75% of it is meant to bring in people, to get eyeballs on your page who might not even consider looking at your page if all you ever talked about was healing crystals. Does that make sense, Julie?
Yes. And a specific example would be like in the self-care niche, or not self-care niche, but in this niche, but we do a self-care content thing. So on that, you can bring in a little message about how you can use healing crystals. It is not a selling post, but you can bring hints to how they help with self-care. And again, they don't have to. It can be just a self-care tip that has nothing to do with it. The idea, again, is you're casting your net to bring people in. So, but anywhere you can place little nuggets of how it helps, it's like spokes in the wheel, or, the spider web or whatever. You are planting those seeds for them to want to know more. The idea the best thing would be for them to comment and want to know more about how it can help, or DM you about how it can help. So again, these other pieces of content are to pique their interest that work in your niche.
For sure. And Deanne, thank you.
Example.
Thank you so much, because I have to be honest, I did not feel very articulate a few minutes ago, but I think I did that intentionally by picking such a hard example. But we legitimately help people sell healing crystals. And to me, that is just wild that I get to do that, because I am really good at selling health and wellness. I'm really good at helping people sell skincare, even pretty bomb at like real estate and things like that. But this whole healing crystal thing was new for me, and I had to kind of learn how to adjust things and myself to kind of overcome those mindset things. Whenever you're presented with something new, it's always a fun learning curve.
For sure. And I do the same thing. Like we do done for you content like we do it all. We post it all. So I have a bankruptcy attorney. You've heard him talk about that a lot. We can retool, like he's got content buckets, and I retool content that we have every single day to make it work for that niche. So I would almost say that almost every single niche can use inspiration, can use engaging posts, can use those types of things to, to get people to engage. Again, we talk about engagement all the time. That's what makes social media work. You have got to get people commenting, liking and commenting and sharing. So,
and that's exactly why your social plan so if you're unfamiliar, I know a lot of you know exactly what your social plan is, but if you're unfamiliar, your social plan is mine and Julie's love child. And it has been it's the product of something that we have been working on for 5 years. And it came from not having enough content to fill the content void that exists when you just cannot post. You just keep posting the same thing about your products and like you're not getting anywhere. That's where the magic of this whole broadening your web and this content theme kind of came full circle for us. And we were really able to start helping a lot more people get better results, get better engagement, reach more people. That's the title of today's training, using a content theme to reach more people. And that's where it really kind of came together for us. And that's why your social plan exists the way it does today, because it helps alleviate 75% or more of that content requirement. So, and Julie said the inspirational and the engagement works for any niche, and it's totally true. We use the same piece of content to start from for our bankruptcy attorneys as we do for dentists and for success coaches, because as you kind of adjust it can really fit anywhere, and people will talk to you about almost any holiday regardless of what niche you're in.
I was trying to share, I was just going to show a sample really quick, but I've got to, 1 second. Just so you get an idea for anyone that's not here. And I shared
well,
the
let's
group.
Finish that page first.
I know.
We're almost there.
1 second. All right.
And yes, in the group later, for any of you who are in our group, I'm doing the April debut, so you'll be able to see all the content coming up for April. And guys, I hand make this myself, and you can't even understand how much I love doing it and how much it just brings me joy when I see people posting it and getting such great traction with it.
All right. And there's just a sample week. All right. Back to.
Yeah. So let's go to this last page and we'll finish the discussion on content themes, and we'll take questions, and then maybe once we finish the recording, we can talk specifically to people about whatever kind of samples they want to see. Okay, so what we did here was I took some of these last posts that were already incorporated into March YSP, and I was just wanting to kind of highlight how this post, if you look at it in isolation, it doesn't have anything to do with the examples that we talked about, but why it's still relevant. So this image, it's coming off a little small here. So if you can open up your resource and you'll be able to see it a bit bigger. Oh gosh. There it goes.
I'll slide.
All right. So this is one of our classic inspirational posts. Even for you, Kim, the artist, this is a pretty post. I consider it kind of artsy, but then it pulls in also the whole idea of Googling something right here. And the Google question would be how to overhaul my life. And the answer is, instead of thinking about an overhaul, think about adding one additional good thing at a time and just let your pile of good things pile up. Right? So over here on this little sticky note, obviously this post has nothing to do about crystals. It has nothing to do specifically about getting out of debt, but it can still be relevant to the ideal client of both of those niches, because everyone who is ready to make a change would be open to this level of positivity and this gentle reminder of a solution to make a good change, and this is the post text that is written to go along with it. Obviously, you can adjust that to maybe add another sentence that talks about your specific journey and maybe even ties in something about crystals, or, how, if you're in the fitness niche, I love fitness because it's so natural for me, but you could add something about 1 10-minute walk a day can add up over time, just like how the small steps can lead to big results. That's kind of what we're getting at there.
And almost every niche, it doesn't matter, this is an overhaul, is actually applicable to any niche that you're in. If it's skincare, you need to start washing your face every day or start a new routine or whatever. So you can make an overhaul work in any niche. So even my bankruptcy attorney, you got to overhaul your, what you're doing, paying your bills, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And especially the bankruptcy attorney is wonderful because you're not going to do an overhaul. That is a process, and it's going to be one small thing at a time until it comes together and all of a sudden everything is working. So then we're showing an example of an engaging posts, and our engaging posts they're usually seasonal, or if they're not seasonal, then there's something that everybody will want to answer. And this one is a beautiful post, and it says, if you could accomplish anything today, what would it be? And there's even a cue right there to comment, which is great because it's not in the text, because Facebook, they ding you in the algorithm if you ask directly for comments in the text, but Facebook can't read the images like that. So asking for a comment like that is a better way for the algorithm. So that's just another way that you guys get the extra benefit of our expertise just by being a part of it. And again, this post over here on the sticky note, it's not niche specific, but that's okay because it still is going to appeal to a broader audience, and they're going to see this. They're ideally going to respond. Maybe they don't respond the first time. It takes time with being consistent to really get the engagement up the way that we like to see. Let's see. Next one. And so here's another one, and this one's a hard one. A lot of people get hung up on some of the holidays that we provide in your social plan. But the reality is, as we've already said a couple times, people come to social media to escape, to remove themselves from their current reality, even if it's just for a few minutes. So capitalize on these silly holidays. March 31st is National Tater Day, which is a funny way of saying Potato Appreciation Day. Potatoes are the number one vegetable in the world, and everyone seems to have an opinion about it. So we really stick to holidays that have a wide appeal. There are thousands of national days that happen, several of them every single day, but we really only stick to the ones that will have a broad appeal for your benefit and for our clients' benefit. So yes, I get it. I've actually think we've said this to someone who sells crystals before. No, potatoes do not have anything to do with healing crystals, but your ideal client is going to want to answer this question. And if they answer that question, then they're going to see more of your content. So if they answer this question that you post on the 31st, and then on the 2nd, they're more likely to see your post about healing crystals, then we have done our job and you have done your job as the marketing manager of your business.
Exactly. So that is win-win. So, and again, we're happen to be talking about the Your Social Plan content because that's what we put out and we're familiar with. Obviously, you can do this on your own, but in this, if we ever have something, you can skip right over it. There's 3 posts a day. So if it's not applicable, you can't figure out a way to make it work. Again, just don't use it. But we are here to tell you that these posts do work. They do get engagement. They do get people talking. They do get eyeballs on the stuff that you're trying to sell.
Yes. And more related, just kind of bringing it back. So more related to your content theme, they take having someone to do your content for you or some of your content for you really takes the pressure off of you to where it's not always. I know that when I met Julie and before we came up with this whole Your Social Plan thing, I was spending 3 to 4 hours a day on social media content. So whenever we were able to alleviate that by creating Your Social Plan for ourselves, my life got a whole lot better, and I was able to focus on, I didn't have a kid at the time, but I was able to spend more time going out, doing things with my husband and going hiking and things like that. And I really could feel my time commitment to my business relax a little. And that's just a little tidbit as to how we came about full circle to where we are today.
Right.
Yes, your life and your sanity.
Yeah. When you can spend less time on these, you can work more on what Deanne just said, with like the long posts, the ones that are the sharing, storytelling type posts that are going to also help you with know, like, and trust. And those are such a huge part of social. And in our Done For You content, we give you prompts for that, fill in the blanks that will help with that as well. So, and those, we have a lot of people that tend to want to skip that step. But social media is a collective whole, and you have to have all of these parts and pieces working. And that's a big part that's going to let you shine at what you do. So I urge people not to skip those post prompts and the fill in the blank posts for sure.
Awesome. So will you scroll back up to, I think it was the second page, and we can just see what, and we can just kind of wrap up. Is it all customizable then? So currently the images are flat, so you can't, swap out the background photo or anything like that. But there are several ways that you can adjust the color of a picture or of an image that we provide. The text, yes, is 100% customizable. So this fashion blogger, for instance, she might have, because she has this street style, body positivity, beauty, and mindset, she would have 3 of those. She could pull content from her monthly subscription, and then she could just focus on the street style, if that kind of makes sense. But does everyone who's on here,
You're fine.
I was just going to ask for a little feedback. Everybody who's watching live, are you clear on what a content theme is now? And if you're not, let's make sure that we get you taken care of, since you're actually here live. We want to make sure that you're taken care of before we wrap up. And Jen wants to know, she wants to keep her brand colors using Canva. Can she change some of the coloring? Yes, you can. Julie has a way to do it. We are not going to show it right now.
No, we're not. But I have a video in our help section. So that will show you.
You use the duotone feature to manipulate the different side, the spectrum of the color. So yay, I'm getting a lot of yeses. Awesome.
Good. Did you already do this? To a point, I'm sure some people did, but really trying to focus on getting it set up so that you can just pick from it will really, really, really save time in the future.
Yes, Tracy. Do you have the dashboard?
And we integrate with Canva. So, and I have a video that shows exactly how you can open Canva right from the dashboard. It pulls in your Canva account and it would let you quickly change, not change it, but you could create a new one. You can change the colors, but if you just didn't like the image, you can quickly make a change. Like we can do it in less than a minute. So it's quite nice.
Yes. And yeah, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I have made so many thousands of images in my careers. I know and let me tell you, if you're an entrepreneur on here, which you cannot sweat the negative feedback. You just can't. You just got to take it and go.
For sure.
Is there a way? Yes, there is a way to get these handouts. I dropped it at the beginning. Thank you, Kim. I'm going to drop it one more time. And if you're watching this on replay in our Take Action training membership, where you get all 50 of the trainings for the year for just $99 currently, you will find this download over in the right-hand side under downloads.
Right. Savita says consistency is the key. That is a fact. And that was the whole reason, but part of the reason why we created the Your Social Plan was to give you the posts to be consistent on a daily basis. I follow several other people in our niche, and I just was following someone that took a 30-day break, and it has killed their engagement, and not just engagement, but like for future posts, like their reach. It's killed their reach tremendously. So if you need to post every day, 2 or 3 times a day, and you really need to ask for feedback on those posts.
Yes. Thank you, Deanne. I do feel like Julie and I have found each other's perfect work spouse, balancing their zone of genius.
Facts. We won't count the ways.
Yeah. So Tony, for sure. And that's what we're here for. And like Julie just said, when you if you take a 30-day break and you come back, your engagement credit score, AKA Facebook, the way Facebook algorithm looks at you now, is going to be so much lower. But whenever you have this content, even if for 30 days you can't post something that you've handcrafted specifically about your products and services, as long as you have been posting other stuff, it's still not the same as if you were all in posting about your offers daily. But knowing that you're showing up every day will make it easier when you come back from that break to kind of get back on top of the news feed. Savita, I understand a lot of us do suffer from shiny object syndrome.
For sure. It's a big deal in entrepreneurship because there's always something new out there, something better, something you've never even heard of. And I wanted to say really quick, so Tony, just to elaborate a little bit about, in the dashboard, we give you content that is scheduled out daily, but in batch style, you actually can throw those into a queue instead, and you can set them to recycle. So let's say you go on vacation. Obviously, you can schedule ahead, but you also can have queues. Let's say that an emergency happened and you just couldn't be there. If they're in queues and recycling, yes, they may see a post that was posted 3 months ago, but actually most of your target market won't even realize it, for number one, because just how the social landscape is, but number two, they will have forgotten about it. So even if they have, or they may not have even been shown it because of reach. So queues are where it's at. We don't talk about that very often, but queues are amazing for recycling content and just setting and forgetting sort of. Although I'm not a proponent for setting and forgetting on the personal type and product type posts. You got to show up. You got to be there for that part.
Yes. And if you would like to learn more about queues, you can join us on Thursday when we do coffee and questions, aka office hours. And Julie will show you all about queues and all about how to use the duotone feature in Canva to adjust the color scheme of our provided posts. So we have a few questions in chat that we need to get to real quick. Tracy, I think you're there. Girl, that's beautiful. Art, self-care, self-love, witchiness, practice, lifestyles. You do you. That's awesome. You're going to direct your people. Productivity and love of life. Love it. You are there. You've been working the whole time. I've watched it morph. It's great. Laura gets overwhelmed with the number of posts we provide, says it's a good thing she knows. Would you advise focusing on editing only the posts that are niche specific if we need to save time? Yes. If you can only do one thing, I would edit the ones that are those 25% that are going to get you the visibility. Savita, she's not going to show it today. I promise.
I wasn't.
You can always count on Savvy.
I've had to show it many times, though, on office hours.
Jen, that is a wonderful question. So we only provide a few hashtags. And if you have the dashboard, then when you go through the onboarding, you should be setting up your hashtag templates to where you're posting 30. If you're posting to Instagram with the intention of growing your business, every single post should have all 30 hashtags. And we only provide 3 with each post. So no, the answer is no, it will not be weird, because you should be adding significantly more hashtags, like hashtag elderberry syrup, hashtag elderberry syrup with Jen, hashtag, whichever ones are yours, you're going to be adding.
Others that go along with the post. So we have, there is a training. This is office hours question, but I have a video on that. There will be a take action on hashtags very soon as well that will help you to come up with this, whether you use the dashboard or not. So, and it kind of works like this, where you bucket them or theme them. So you'll be watching for that one.
Yes.
Yes. Savita, do you suggest switching them up? Yes. If you don't, shadow banning is a real thing on Instagram, and you need to switch them up, and based on content as well. So the take action that we'll be doing on hashtags, we might as well get to it pretty soon. So we'll really clear that up for you. So be sure to join us for that one.
So if I sign up for the dashboard, do I need to tell you I need a certain niche, or do I get them all? I've got it open. So it depends on, you're likely not a beauty influencer, but you could probably benefit from being a YSP Fitness Pro member. So you get 15 of those health and fitness ones, which I would say, if you're really not, if fitness really isn't in your content theme, usually about half and half, we try to balance with like nutrition and wellness, and then fitness and activity. So it just kind of depends. The fitness version is only, only like $10 more a month. So it's up to you if you think you could benefit from that.
The general edition is, or whatever we want to call that, is 3 posts. So, and they are just what I said, general in nature. They will fit any niche, especially if you reframe them a little bit. But even if you don't, they fit virtually any niche.
Yes. Tracy wants to know the answer to that question too. So Tracy, art, self-care, witchiness practice. I do not make monthly content for that. I'm sorry. Productivity, love of life. It depends. If self-care is more like healthy lifestyle than fitness, otherwise you could probably get some good use out of also just the regular Your Social Plan membership. So yeah, Jen, if you added fitness to your theme, then I think a YSP Fitness Pro would probably be a great place for you. Perfect. I think we should wrap up, and then we can keep taking questions after we finish.
So the whole point of Take Action is to do just that. Print this out or download it. Make your content categories, your subcategories. Think about the content that can fit in those, and revisit it when you're batching your content. So thank you again for joining us for Take Action Training.
Yep. We appreciate you being here.
Exactly. Every Tuesday.
Yep.
For this year, for sure. So thanks again.